Dracula's asleep in a box of dirt to avoid the daylight, while the crew aboard the Demeter must fight to stay alive. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away on the Demeter. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away on the Demeter. Come sail away, come sail away on the Demeter. The Last Voyage of the Demeter was directed by the guy who did The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Troll Hunter, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the guy's name because even though I like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, obviously because I have it on Blu-ray, why would I have any movie on Blu-ray that I hate? That's just stupid to watch stuff that you think you're not going to like, because why would you waste your time doing that? Who would possibly do that? Anyway, this was written by two different people. It took two people to write this movie. I'm going to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, even though the intro pretty much gave it away there. But yeah, one of the guys that wrote Samaritan and Escape Room, and I assume Escape Room 2, Electric, How the Fuck Did We Make a Sequel to This Boogaloo, and also the guy that wrote Fear Street Part 2, pretty much the apex of the goddamn trilogy, certainly wasn't Part 3, and Bullet Train. So yeah, we're just raring to go on this, so it's based on the Captain's Log. Spock! No, it's not that Captain's Log. No Star Trek. No girdle holding anything in, except for the movie that's bursting at the seams with it. Let's just get into the rest of it by Bram Stoker. Bram Stoker. Yeah, they really should have stroked something else. Maybe they could have stroked something. Okay, let's just keep it as nice as possible right now. So Corey Hawkins plays Clemens, who's a doctor who's trying to get back to England. He studied at the University of Cambridge, and because this is taking place in 1897, he's an African-American gentleman, or of African-British descent. Actually, now that I think about it, probably should have used that properly. He is really just trying to overcome the heaping amounts of racism. And also, Anna, played by Aislinn Francioski. I'm pretty certain I probably screwed that up. Aislinn. That's just what I'm going to call. The woman from The Nightingale. That's what I just should have said. She is fucking terrific. So terrific that I can't even pronounce her name, but she was great in that. The Nightingale, Jesus Christ, some of that movie still haunts me. Liam Cunningham played the captain. And then there's, and Javier Botet played another character in this. Okay, if you haven't seen the trailer, here's an idea. 1897, there's the ship, the Demeter. I know, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I mean, I wonder if I could have indicated that it's called the Demeter in the title. I don't know who would have guessed that. So anyway, yeah, basically it's The Last Voyage of the Demeter. They're taking a bunch of cargo from Bulgaria. Various goods, various trades, various services. $20 my many peanuts. Explain how money can be exchanged for goods and services. Woohoo! No peanuts or $20 bills found under the goddamn couch. Homer Simpson was nowhere around this. That would have made it entertaining. Yeah, let's just go with that right now. Probably tipping my hand as to how I felt about this, but nevertheless, yeah, 1897, they're taking off from Bulgaria to England. It's going to take a while because no motorized transportation. There aren't a lot of roads that go from Bulgaria to England, and also they're like, hell, we'll just do this. I mean, even though there are a bunch of horse-drawn carriages that brought them all these goods, including one particular bit of cargo that turns out to not be what they thought, and certain bad things start occurring on this ship on the high seas. So yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer, that's pretty much it. That's all I can really say without that. If you've seen the trailer, then you pretty much have seen the movie. And what you have seen, I would say were the best parts? No. There's no good parts of this. There are no good parts. There are no good scenes. There are no good action pieces. There is no nothing. There is nothing to this movie. This movie is 2 hours and it's a goddamn slog and should have been drowned. Drowned forcibly if necessary, along with everybody that thought greenlighting this goddamn thing was a good idea. Maybe not that, but maybe you should have just said, hey, we're going to take this screenplay and we're going to drown it. And we're going to come up with something better. And the two guys that wrote this movie have done better things. I didn't like Samaritan, but there were neat little ideas. And you are trying to take a Bram Stoker piece and turn it into something when we all know what the hell is going to happen. And Bram Stoker probably should have indicated what the hell the thing actually is. If you just totally skipped out of the first little bit of that intro, then you would have no idea. Yes, there is a certain entity on board. And Aislinn shows up at one point. I really like her, and I really want her to get better roles. God, I want her to get better roles. Corey Hawkins has been in better stuff than this. In fact, the recognizable actors have been in better things than this. If I have not indicated enough, I fucking hated this movie. This movie is a slog and terrible and should not be seen by human eyes. This movie should have not gotten a theatrical release. I don't know the budget exactly, but I would imagine 40, 50 million is probably about right. I mean, it could have been a little less. There were terrible green screen effects, terrible special effects, and while I'm sure everybody worked hard, and I don't wish any ill upon them, I would like to say simply that every character in this movie is stupid, bad at everything, and deserve to die horribly, viciously, vilely, in fact. Yeah, it's terrible. There's a car, there's something on board and everything, even though if you've seen the trailer, you know what it is. And Bram Stoker, yeah, that's pretty much it. It pretty much tips everything there, and yeah, even if you know how something's going to end, you could actually tell a good story. This movie fails to do that. This movie fails to have a fucking story. It just has people, hey, certain things are happening. We know what's happening, but we're just going to act like idiots and, oh my god, more of this stuff's happening. What could possibly be happening? What do you fucking think? Ow! Still, that was less painful than watching The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers here real soon. It's in theaters if you want to watch it. It should have gone right to streaming. It actually should have gone right into the goddamn wood chipper, even though I don't think you can wood chip a movie. But nevertheless, yeah, it was really, really apocalyptically bad. One of the worst things of the year. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. It's Dracula. It's fucking Dracula on the goddamn thing. Anna is sort of a familiar because Dracula ransacked the village, a Romanian village, some Romanian village, just somewhere in Romania. And according to her, he had to stow away aboard the ship, and she stowed away aboard it, and Clemens decided to give her some of his new blood transfusions to help her, even though she's been infected by stuff, and she was in a box. Dracula's in a box. This crew actually that delivers Dracula at one point says, oh, we'll give you some money, we're leaving. And it's like, good luck. He says this in Bulgarian, I assume, or possibly in a language that is found in an alternate dimension and on an alternate planet. It seemed like a few people looked like they were on alternate planets. I think everybody involved in making this were on alternate planets and decided to come together and then just make this. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on this movie, but for a horror movie, for a horror offering, it really doesn't offer you anything that you haven't seen before, and everything about it, from the gore, the special effects, I'm sorry, once again, are terrible. There are some fire effects. There are some of the worst goddamn things I've seen. There's Dracula, Nosferatu, whatever. I'm just crumpling this up right now. It's all of it. I don't ever want to fucking review this again, or ever talk about this again, or even think about it until I do my worst movies of the year list, which this will be on. This will absolutely be on. Again, same guy directed this. This wasn't a masterpiece. This was good. Why didn't they do more of these movies? They should do more. Do more of these. Do less of The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Anyway, so yeah, the crew basically says, or the people delivering Dracula's box, how did he get in the box? Who the fuck knows? How did she get in the box? I assume she put him in the box. Maybe Renfield signed the whole goddamn thing. Watch Renfield instead. Renfield is good. Despite the fact Awkwafina was in it. She was tolerable there. Not in the Little Mermaid live-action remake. Let's get back to The Last Voyage of the Demeter. What essentially happens is the Bulgarian brigade, as I'm going to call them, say, good luck, and may you see the end of your journey. Well, I didn't want to see the end of this movie. Had I not been with friends that showed up out of nowhere, friends that I have actually not seen in a while, and I'm glad they're doing well. One is my best friend of 20 plus years. One of my best friends. And the other is her sister, and it's really nice to talk to them, and God, if they hadn't been there, I would have walked out. That's how bad this movie was. There were 4 people that walked out of this movie, and there was only about 20 people in there. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing. Granted, it's just one theater, it's just one showing, but Jesus. And it starts with some scrolling text and does all this stuff, and we see in the beginning, there's this guy that's all scary. He's all like, I can't believe what, it's like, they're all dead. He's got the captain's log, and we got this guy, and you have to assume that the guy might have been Dracula in human form or something, or he's just some guy that just showed up. Just some guy that found the captain's log. Spock! And then you get introduced to Clemens, you get introduced to various people, you find out the little boy that is an idiot, has a dog. The dog does die, but you see it off, or you don't see it on camera, so whatever. Livestock get killed. Dracula occasionally picks people off at night in the stupidest way as possible. There's this whole knock, knock, knock thing, and that actually leads to something a little bit later on with Dracula. You know, I hear you knocking, but you gotta invite me in. They end up getting picked off one by one. One guy ends up getting his throat ripped out while he's trying to, like, you know, get at his knife. And Anna gets, during this time, had been brought out of her box. I gotta say, the actress is really talented and really does deserve a whole lot better than this. God, she really does. So many of the talented people in this movie deserve better than this schlock. They should have gone right to goddamn Netflix as far as I'm concerned. But nevertheless, what ends up happening from there is more people get picked off. More people get picked off. One, the boy is all freaking out and everything. There's dark, spoopy parts to this ship, the cargo hold, the fact that they can't find the box later on after more people get picked off, and then they say, oh wait, it's this one box that we saw earlier, but all these boxes look the same and have all these labels, except for this one that had this metal label and had all this stuff. It couldn't have possibly been that box that we should have seen, that we put here in the middle of the goddamn thing for some reason. We can't possibly figure this shit out. You see what I mean by characters being stupid and bad, everything? And Clemens, Corey Hawkins, once again, who is a very good actor, who deserves better than this. They make his character just so monumentally stupid. He does the blood transfusions to help Anna. That shows his humanity. And it fights off the infection that Dracula has given her temporarily. So people start dying. One guy gets bitten and not twice shy. He ends up getting pinned down after trying to get at the boy, and then the boy gets killed. The little boy gets killed. Oh God, that was so terrible. That kid was an idiot. And I don't mean the boy. I mean the character. So that really was about one of the only things I cheered, like, yay, a little shit got what he deserved for being dumb. And nothing stops Dracula. Nothing. Not bullets, not anything, not the high seas, not this one chef that was all religious that abandoned him and went in a lifeboat, and then Dracula grew wings. What? He has wings? Dracula is new with wings. He drank a Red Bull. And then he just picked that guy off, and then the lifeboat seemingly just got turned back around. Dracula's like, here, this is what will happen to you if you try to escape. Why Dracula is Emperor Palpatine, I don't know. I'm going to roll with it. And as more people get picked off in stupid ways, one guy gets thrown off the sail into the or gets ripped off and gets sent through the floor. One guy shatters his knee. The captain gets burned at one point. This is so important. The captain gets burned when his grandson tries to burst out of the sheet and grab him, and the grandfather is like holding on to him while the grandson's burning. Now the grandfather gets burned on this side of his face and his hands. This side of his face. That's important. So if you're looking at it, it's the left side of the face. He's looking through his captain log. He's doing all this stuff. People have to know this, have to know all this stuff going on. So rations are bad because the farm animals, everything's fucked. Everybody's trying to come up with a plan to trap and kill Dracula. You can't do that. You can only hope to contain him. Maybe in the box of dirt. Maybe put a stake through his heart. But why the hell know that? I mean, you can't possibly do that. But the captain had the burns on the side of his face. And we saw that up close. After that, and when Clemens was looking for him because they were going to take the ship down, and one guy who was put in command of the ship because Captain Elliot said, I'm done. Mr. Cunningham said he was done. Richie Cunningham's grandfather said he was done. Would have rather watched Happy Days than this. Nevertheless, the guy who takes over as captain decides, okay, wait, I'll axe the goddamn cargo hole, and we're going to do this, and we're going to take this away. This does not look like an axe at all. This does not look like an axe. And then Dracula suddenly shows up and gets him, but not before he's able to puncture a bit of a hole in the ship. Enough of a hole that maybe if you're on the high seas and you're out there for another 3 weeks, it might sink it. Maybe another 3 days. But nevertheless, it wasn't going to actually going to sink anything, at least anytime soon. That's their idea. They were going to sink the ship. And then Anna's like, okay, we need to do this. We need to trap him. But before that, Clemens goes to get the captain. The captain's got the burns on this side of his face. This was in the final cut. This was in the final cut. This is right there where I think the studio just said, fuck it. It's okay. We don't need to. We just either reverse the shot or we did something or whatever. they cut to the captain looking at something, and the burns are on this side of the face. And I'm like looking, and I'm thinking my eyes are playing tricks on me because my eyes wanted to close and not open until the movie was over. But I'm like, wait, it was supposed to be here, and it's here. And how the hell do you mess that up with a budget of like 30, 40, 50 million dollars? Something in theaters, you mess up that goddamn bad in a movie where the makeup effects aren't awful, but you mess that up? And then everybody basically gets picked off. Clemens and Anna get, out to sea, and it seems like Dracula is going to be all dead. Also, Dracula scraped Clemens' neck and looked like he was going to drink his blood before Anna managed to save him. But then Anna starts to turn into a vampire, so they're on this shipwreckage part. She goes out to sea, and she decides to be Burning Man, or Burning Woman, as it were. Burning Aslan, sorry. I'm probably screwing that up, and anybody that's Irish or Welsh or whatever part of the country she's from probably are just raging that I'm getting this wrong, so I do apologize for that. But Clemens manages to somehow get back to jolly old England. And then he's got his narration where he is going to hunt the creature down. And suddenly Dracula Nosferatu is there, poking his cane, doing the knock thing. This does not look like a cane knocking. That's just all I'm going to do, but he's just boom, boom, boom. And then suddenly he disappears, and he's like, I will hunt this creature down, I will do this. Do not fucking do a sequel to The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Let's just forget that this movie exists. I don't expect much from horror movies like this. I just expect entertainment, and you have to be kidding me that you thought this movie was entertaining. It was terrible. It was goddamn terrible. F gets an F. Top 10 worst of the year, possibly. Maybe. I don't know. There's been a lot of shit this year. Watch a lot of bad stuff. Watch a lot of great stuff. F. Agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retland. Watch this instead. Watch this. It ain't great, but it's better than this. See you soon.